It's the weekly show about rAVe with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, Steph, how are you?
Good, Gary. How are you?
Good. We are both home. For those of you who are watching internationally, maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but it is Thanksgiving week here in the United States. But this is rAVe TV, our weekly TV show every Wednesday at noon, and it comes to you live on what, Steph? Tell them.
ravepubs.com, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. I believe that's all of them.
Yeah, all 5 places simultaneously. Yeah. And Steph
you have many choices to watch from wherever makes sense for you.
Exactly. And we just can't get away from this, even on a holiday week. But
I know
we have promised, Steph, for many weeks now that we're going to do something special today. And should we tell them what it's going to be, and then read some of the news, and then do it?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, right. For our Thanksgiving episode, as we all know, Thanksgiving is about spending time with the people you love most. So Gary and I have invited some of our family to join us today on this episode, so you can get to know them a little bit.
Yeah, get to know some behind the scenes and get some dirt on us. But anyway, you'll have fun meeting our families in just a moment. Steph, I want to show you something really cool.
Show me.
A brand new 3D billboard went up at Piccadilly Circle in London. Is it Piccadilly Circus, or is it Circle, or is it Square? I forget which one it is.
Circus.
The people from the UK are laughing at me right now.
Yeah.
I just love this content that's on here. I think Facebook/Meta did a phenomenal job leveraging this LED technology. That's actual video footage from standing. You can see actual people standing below there watching.
That's very cool.
It looks 3D. The way they did it's called forced reality because it's curved, which gives you a 3D effect. And, a lot of brands show 3D billboards, but don't do as good of a job, with the content production. Obviously, the agency that Facebook works with here did a phenomenal job. What do you think?
And who made the display?
That's a Daktronics display. For those of you who are curious, that's Daktronics LED, outdoor LED technology. I think it's a 3.1 millimeter display. And, we've seen stuff like this. I post these kind of things on my LinkedIn all the time. We see stuff like this in Japan and also in Times Square, and of course London. It's a little harder to pull these kind of things off in a country like the UK or a city like London, where they have all these like historical regulations, right? Because they have these historical buildings, they don't want to just wrap them in LEDs. But that's a phenomenal example right there.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about DSC really quick. So we attended DSC in Las Vegas last week. Gary, how do you think the show went?
I thought it was a great first, re-emergence of the show. It was small. It was only about, I think, a little less than 100 exhibitors. But, they pulled it off.
They did.
It was busy. All the parties and after day events were busy. The booths, all the manufacturers I spoke to, which included companies like Bright Sign, Sony, MaxHub, Infled. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Nexmosphere, KitCast. They were all happy with how the show went. What about you? What were your impressions?
The same. All of the manufacturers who spoke with me, I talked with a lot of more of the CMS companies, and all of them said the same thing, that it was a smaller show in terms of space and attendees, but they actually had really great and meaningful conversations with potential clients. So all in all, I'm going to say that DSC 2022 was a success.
It's small. It's not what it was before. Like, we both agree that they got a long way to go to rebuild that show. But Questex, they had almost every exhibitor re-signed. They had new exhibitors sign up at the show. The show floor is going to be 50% larger at a minimum based on the numbers of people that signed up.
People who've already signed up for next year. So
exactly. Larger booths. Sony took a larger booth. And during the show, the last day of the show, did you get to go to the Dizzy Awards?
I did. Yeah. I got to go, and I covered it for Instagram for us. So that was a good time. I really enjoyed getting to see the installations of the winners. I will say Moment Factory cleaned up. They won a lot of awards, obviously, and well-deserved, because Their installations are quite beautiful, but yes, it was a good time, and all the winners, of course, were well deserved.
You can scan that QR code. It'll take you directly to any of the things we're talking about today, including sometime over the holiday, we will post our own digital signage awards, probably by Monday. We'll post our award winners, the 17 or 18 awards we picked out. Best products that we saw, best technology we saw, best new display, best new media player, all that kind of stuff. We'll post those by Monday. Steph, is that right?
Yes, I know it. I need to double check on the exact day, but it will be next week for sure.
Okay, so scan that QR code and you can be connected to all that. And of course, we got the next big show for us is ISE, only 10 weeks away. Steph, can you believe that?
I know. I can't believe that. I know we're supposed to book our flights next week and get ready to go back to Barcelona. And of course, you can join us. All you have to do is scan the QR code, use code rAVE Europe as you are registering, and you will get a show floor pass for free. All you got to do is get yourself there. So
got to go to Barcelona.
We're very much looking forward.
There's worse places to go than Barcelona.
There are many worse places to go than Barcelona, Spain. Gary, this will be your first show in Barcelona, and I know you were looking forward to it because you were taken out by COVID this year.
I was, and this time I came back from DSE with the flu, so we'll see what happens when I go to ISE.
They're trying to take you out.
Yeah, exactly. In any case, speaking of ISE, one of the companies that'll be there is rAVe or ProAV. They're making a big push to get into the ProAV market. They're also a sponsor of rAVe TV, and kudos to them for winning Frost & Sullivan's Enlightenment Growth Leadership Award. Steph, did you hear about that?
Yeah. Yes, I did. And, for a company that's trying to break into this area of our market, I think it's a big deal for them to get a Frost & Sullivan award. Of course, you can scan the QR code and check out the video of them winning. So once again, a very well-deserved thing.
Yep. So, drum roll, right? Should we do a drum roll and bring on our family?
Let's bring on our family. Right, let's bring them out.
All right. So I want to welcome our family here. Next to me at the top of the screen is my daughter. How about you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Annabelle Kay, obviously.
There you go.
All right. And next to me, I have my dad and my sister. Dad, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey there, Tim Beckett.
Hannah, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Hannah.
I have to say, Steph, Hannah looks like you. I mean, y'all look very, very similar. Like that is.
Yes, we have gotten that before.
Yes, my fault.
It's your dad's fault. It's funny. It's kind of eerie to think that there's 50 states in the United States. There's 100 counties in North Carolina alone. And we have the industry's only weekly TV show. And Steph and I grew up less than 10 miles from each other, not at the same time, or a lot of our lives, I should say, near Angier, North Carolina, our Johnson County / line of Harnett County, Wake County line. And here we are on this weird TV show, and we bring our families together. Right? Tim, did you grow up in Angier, North Carolina? Where?
I actually grew up in North Raleigh.
North Raleigh. Okay, so you just decided to move to Angier.
Well, it was a convenient. It was like a halfway point between RDU Airport and Fort Bragg.
Yeah,
and so I spent a lot of my earlier working days between Fort Bragg and Raleigh-Durham Airport.
So when I grew up in Angier, there was nothing to do there other than a Tasty Freeze and IGA, and then there was the baseball fields, the park.
2 of the 3 are still there.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think the Tasty Freeze is around anymore.
Tasty Freeze is gone. The IGA is still standing. I will say the IGA is a very expensive grocery store. I went there a couple weeks ago, and I was like, good God, this is more expensive than Harris Teeter.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
No, it is. I think because it's small, everything is $2 more than it is at the local Food Lion. So.
Yeah, well, my daughter Annabelle, who's on here, she never got a chance to live in Angier. Thank goodness for her sake.
Annabelle, I'm so sorry.
Angier after graduating from college, but I think that Angier would have not served you well, would it have, Annabelle? Because I'll give you an example. By the time I got home, every time I went out, whether it was a date or just to have fun, my parents already knew what I had done. How would you like that, Annabelle?
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked for me.
So Annabelle, go ahead. Tell everybody what you do, Annabelle.
I'm a content manager at Intellisys, which is owned by ScanSource, which is kind of on the fringe of AV. But yeah, that's what I do. I write things, I send tweets out, I do all that kind of stuff.
Social media, Maven, and whatever they need. Hannah, what about you?
Internally and externally, yeah.
I work at a bakery.
Oh, I just said that. Any content internally and externally goes through me.
Okay.
Cool.
Hannah, what about you?
I work at a bakery in Capillet, and it's the best bakery you could probably go to around here, where I'm located in Canada, New Brunswick.
Wow.
Very kind of a small province, but it's great. It's absolutely beautiful.
What's your favorite
taste everything?
thing to
Are you
eat?
the taster?
Pardon?
Are you the taster?
Sometimes if I can get away with it, but most of the time, no. Afterwards, I will. But my absolute favorite thing to make there is the bread.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you've loved to bake bread for a while.
Yes.
So, Steph, I have to tell you, my daughter. I have another daughter, Olivia, who's not here. She's headed to her boyfriend's house for Thanksgiving, so she couldn't join us. She'll maybe join us on the holiday show, the Christmas show that we have at the end of the year. But Annabelle and Olivia both were indoctrinated by me in Star Wars, right? So
yes,
from the age of I think Annabelle was probably 2.5 years old when I first had her start watching the trilogy. And did you know, Steph, that we have matching tattoos?
I did know that. I remember when you guys got them, and I love your tattoos. So
we both have the symbol on our body right here, which is the Rebel Alliance symbol. And
I love that.
So Annabelle has been, I don't know if it's been at her will or my will that she's decided to like Star Wars. So we'll have to ask her. Annabelle, what do you think?
I don't know. That's like nurture versus nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, I don't know, but here I am. Like, I like Star Wars. For my birthdays, he's taken me to Disney. Actually, a couple years ago, we went to Disney for Thanksgiving, which was really fun. And this Thanksgiving is kind of similar to that in a way. He's got all the Christmas decorations up. He's still paying for everything. And the only difference is that there's a lot less kids and no lines. So I would say that it's a pretty good Christmas. But yeah, we're big like Disney, Star Wars people. And I don't know. I guess I'll continue that forever.
Yeah,
hopefully indoctrinate.
I think that Tim or Dad, I think that you introduced me to it around the same time. Like I think I was like 3.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6 are so awesome. I mean,
yeah, I think that. Do you remember when I first watched A New Hope and I did not know what the name was, so I kept calling it Star Horse?
I think so.
I had no idea about the premise or anything, but I just liked that it was in space, I think, as a kid. And Hannah, I think he had you watch it around the same age, so I think that we were also indoctrinated fairly early.
Yeah, I remember standing in line in the summer heat. It was sold out, and we had to stand in line to get the next show. And I just thought, was it 77, 78?
77, yeah. May 77.
I just thought that was the most amazing thing I'd ever seen on the big screen.
Same here. That's why I fell in love with it.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting, in fact, I know Steph's heard me tell this story. Steph actually gave me a T-shirt, the I Was There T-shirt for the day that it came out. But when I saw Star Wars for the first time, Tim, you might relate to this. This is how I had to watch it. He gets it. It's where I was sitting, front left seat in the entire theater by myself, looking at it like this out of the corner of my eye because it was huge. It was a big deal. When those ships first came in. But Tim, I have a question for you. Now, there's only one right answer to this. Which one of the trilogy is the best of the 3?
I say number 4, the New Hope.
That's what I say.
I think because it introduced you to the characters. And just the way the whole thing was laid out. Now, I'm not dissing the other 2 because they're great too in their own right. But I think the first one really just set the bar really high.
It did. My favorite of the 3 is Empire. Empire Strikes Back, just because I liked the conflict. in the story. There's a lot of conflict. And I think the conflict makes it sort of dramatically interesting. I don't know, Annabelle, what do you think?
Mine used to be episode 5, but I think now it's Rogue One.
That one's my favorite overall. Rogue One is so good.
It's a full story. You get it's funny. I remember when I saw it, I was like laughing the whole time. It was also sad, and there were a lot of happy moments too. And I thought that was kind of like the perfect movie.
But prequels are so delicate; they have to be done in such a right way. And I think Rogue One is in a lot of ways like the perfect prequel.
For sure, agreed.
Has anybody seen The Mandalorian?
Oh, here we go.
That's
taken on a whole new life of its own.
Baby Yoda and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's Disney knows how to merchandise something, Larry.
Yes, they do.
They do know how to.
They are the masters.
And Mandalorian uses a extended reality stage instead of a green screen, which Gary we've talked about a lot before. So it's like it's a literal display like behind.
There's
rather than using.
The TV shows don't use sets. They actually use a 270-degree LED, so it's surrounding the actors, called stagecraft. And they're shooting, all the sets are generated graphically. And so what's cool about that is that the actors don't have to act imagining things. They're actually seeing it. So instead of the director saying, imagine you're in a spaceship and you got to run down this hallway that doesn't exist, they literally can create the hallway and have them run down that hallway. But it's all projected using LED technology. So it has really changed. In fact, here's how much it has changed things. If you just this one measurement stick, I think is significant. Hayden Christensen, who many people panned for the first 3 movies, is doing a terrible job playing Anakin Skywalker when he was in his young 20s. Just won a Best Supporting Emmy award for his work just in the latest series, Obi-Wan Kenobi, because they said he did such a good job acting. And he literally said he couldn't, when he was young, he couldn't act in front of a green screen. He couldn't imagine, like he had a hard time imagining it. But in this stagecraft technology, he saw everything, so he could really act. And I could imagine it'd be weird. I mean, if you look at those sets from that original trilogy that they made, they were all standing in front of nothing but green screens the whole time.
And you just have to look at like a tennis ball and like act to the tennis ball. I can imagine that would be so difficult to like
I don't know how they do it.
Into and stay in character when you're literally holding a lightsaber. You look ridiculous and you're like doing a scene with a literal tennis ball. Like, I don't think I would be able to perform well in that either. So I'm glad the technology is like so rapidly changing that it's like making it easier for actors to be better at their jobs.
Yeah. And now we're on the dawn of having fake actors, meaning people that are actually not people, thanks to AI and deep fake technology. Great people. And Hannah, what's your favorite movie of all time? I'm curious, since we're all sitting here talking about Star Wars.
Are we talking about Star Wars itself, or are we talking about movie? Oh,
please don't say Avatar.
No, that's actually a good one though, and I'm ready to see the second one, but I don't know if I have a favorite. Like, that's wow. I have a lot of favorites. A lot of Disney. Disney's just always made my favorite movies, honestly.
Yeah, Hannah, what's your favorite Disney movie? I don't know if I remember.
I think it has to be like Toy Story or something like that. I love Toy Story so much. Mm-hmm. The last one I wasn't too big of a fan of, just because I guess Andy reared off. Andy was a big part of our childhoods, me and Steph. And third one I remember seeing in theaters with you, and that one I remember full on sobbing.
We cried. Yeah, we cried in the theater watching Toy Story 3.
And Kanto was also a good a very good Disney movie. She had me watching that one because she said the song that I can't even remember her name. I saw it once. She was singing, and it encapsulates what it's like being an older sibling, how they carry the weight. And I found it very true.
We do. Yes. Yeah, for sure. I haven't seen that. I'm going to add it to my list.
Add it to your list. There's like a song about like being the older sibling and like having to set all the expectations, and like that's like just a lot of pressure growing up. So I was like, yeah, watch this and see if you have some respect after that.
Yeah, I paved the way for my sister.
Yeah, whether it was in a good way or not, we paved the way.
Yeah.
So this has been a lot of fun. I did kind of indoctrinate Annabelle. I'm sure she has other movies that she's a fan of, but we both agree on one thing. And no offense, Hannah, we are absolutely
Avatar sucks.
We don't understand how is it that they greenlighted another Avatar, much less 3 more Avatar movies, which is crazy to me, because we thought the first Avatar was horrible. But
yeah,
I don't know. I guess
one thing about both of you is y'all love having a hot take opinion. So that is one thing that the K's share collectively. I watched Avatar and I liked it when I first watched it, but I think I watched it again recently and I was like, good God, why is this 3 hours?
You watched it without alcohol. The first time I watched it with alcohol.
Dad, you don't like that movie either, do you?
Avatar?
Yeah.
I tried to like it. I just can't sit through the whole thing for some reason.
Yeah, I like you, Dad.
Yeah. But I tell you what, to change it, have you guys seen Top Gun Maverick?
Oh, so I believe that movie deserves the Academy Award, but they won't give it to it because they never give action flicks the Academy Award, Tim.
But the filming and the way Tom Cruise, his love of the craft, minimal CGI, and the fact that he made those guys, the cast, fly in the back of those aircraft, and they mounted special cameras in the crew station to film as they were getting yanked and banked, and they made it. But it looked so real. I loved it.
Well, it was real, right? I mean, like you said, they had them fly in jets and fighter jets so that they would know what it was like. And, it's funny. I read the story about that, Tim. And in fact, they actually shot some of the scenes in CG and inside of a green screen studio. And he's like, this doesn't look real enough. We got to change what we're doing here. So they reshot those scenes, as you said, inside of fighter jets. And it's incredible. Like, it is a phenomenal movie. The story is good. The action is good. And Tom Cruise is, he deserves the Academy Award. They'll never give it to him because he's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, of course. And that's his real P-51 Mustang. That's his own aircraft. I love that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Y'all both being obsessed with this movie. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, kudos.
You haven't seen it?
Wow. I haven't seen it. No.
Kudos.
I will. I promise I will.
That was
I will watch it.
Well, you got to watch it when you come over.
Okay, I'll watch it when I come home tomorrow.
And kudos to Sony for putting up the money to do that the right way. Those are Sony cameras. That's Sony filming. They did it right.
Man, I hope it paid off for them because, well, they got a lot of my money.
Well, it's already in the top 10 of all-time grossing movies. So they're doing pretty well. And, they waited until it was made before the pandemic. They waited until after the pandemic to bring it out.
Yeah.
And so I think it paid off for them. And if you haven't seen it, it's not going to win the Academy Award probably simply because, like, Tim, when Star Wars you said episode 4 was your favorite, right?
Yeah.
That movie absolutely deserved the Academy Award. They gave it to Annie Hall of all movies that year. And that's because they don't like action flicks. They like these like movies that no one's ever heard of or seen. Now, of course, Annie Hall Sense is kind of famous, but still, they like giving it to esoteric films. They don't like giving it to mainstream films. Oh, well.
I agree.
So, well, look, I want to thank Hannah and Tim and Annabelle for joining us as part of our family episode this week of Thanksgiving. Thanks for joining us, and
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
We're gonna have fun. We're gonna do something. Annabelle is actually cooking Thanksgiving dinner. That's why I invited her, so she would cook Thanksgiving dinner.
I knew you were not going to do it, Gary.
Yeah, definitely not. And and then we are also going to go to the football game on Friday, Steph.
Oh, very cool. That'll be fun.
What about you, Tim? Are you cooking?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah.
He always does everything. In recent years, I think it's just because my grandma's getting a little older. She just can't stand that long to cook everything like she used to. So my dad's kind of taken over, and I'll come in and supplement where I can. I usually cook dessert. I usually am the pie maker.
Do you fry a turkey, Tim, or do you?
I brine mine overnight, and then I actually do it on the grill.
Okay.
He has a very big like Wilmington grill that kind of like functions similarly to a convection oven.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Well, enjoy your Thanksgiving. I want to thank y'all for joining us. We got some more news to cover, but before we do, I think we have a message from Shore. Do we have a message from Shore?
We do have a message from Shore, so we're going to roll that real quick.
That was fun, Steph. It was cool.
Yeah.
I know that you don't think so, but your sister looks just like you.
But it's just so funny because I think people say that a lot when we like first meet, but then like once you spend like time with us and like really look at us, you're like, oh, like y'all actually look quite different. So
I'm sure it is.
But we also act quite differently. We're very like night and day in our mannerisms and stuff. So I think you and Annabelle look quite alike, like more so than you and Olivia.
I don't think Annabelle wants you to say that.
Like not in a bad way. She's much prettier than you are. I'm sorry.
Thank God. All right, talk about Dr. Ann's story. We got Dr. Ann writing for us a column. She's a UCC expert. Tell us about it.
Yes, with the TRI Alliance, I believe it's called. But yes, Dr. Ann has a new series of columns that she's been working on for us where you ask her any of your UCC questions and she answers them. So the question for this month is, do hybrid meetings really work? And she writes all about what it takes for a hybrid meeting to work, because short answer, yes, they do work. But everything in the environment has to be perfect for them to actually work and for everyone in the meeting to feel like they're getting an equal experience. And very often they don't work because not all of the pieces of the environment are correct. So she expands upon that. Definitely check it out because yes, I know that we are drilling the hybrid topic into the ground, but that is just where we are at right now. We're still in those meetings. So yeah, it's still relevant and we're still going to talk about it. So definitely go and check that out by scanning the QR code.
And speaking of meetings and the fact that we have to have hybrid meetings, like Zoom did a month ago, Microsoft added sign language interpretation into Teams. Now, you still have to have your own interpreter, but they actually provide you the connectivity to make it where they can be available worldwide and also in any meeting, whether it be private or public or whatever. I think you're going to see a lot of AI come out of this, Steph. I think this is a play. This is an AI play. Learn the sign language and then automate that entire process over time. You got to have a whole bunch of people signing, and then the technology can learn the sign, and then you can have an avatar signing for you. And I think that's where both of these organizations are going to go. I think within a couple of years, we're going to see avatar or deep fake, whatever you want to call it, based sign language, which, look, the fact of the matter is there's ADA laws all around the world. I mean, obviously ADA is American, but the American Disabilities Act requires you to be able to provide meeting accommodations regardless of who you are and what your disability might be. And therefore, we're going to see that globally for all sorts of features like this appear, and not just UC products, but in a lot of other products and technology. Just like closed captions is normal in a TV now. It used to be an add-on, something you had to pay for.
Yeah.
Sony is also going to they have an alliance, okay, and they formed an alliance about a year ago to get certified to offer APIs and software applications native on the Bravia displays. And Signage OS and Sony had a joint announcement at the Digital Signage Experience show last week, Steph, that you know about, where Signage OS is now certified to be part of the Bravia Alliance, which basically means that Bravia now has chip on board technology, basically a built-in media player. And what you need to drive that media player is content and a content management system. And Signage OS is offering both as part of that alliance. So
yeah, which is a very big trend in now, because like you and I mentioned, there were not very many players at DSC, but there were a lot of CMS chip on board.
Yeah,
technology.
only two, Navori and Brightsign, right? Well, I guess there's KitCast, so there's three.
There were a couple. There were a couple more that just had a player, like so, not even a line, but just a couple. Yeah.
I won't name any names, but someone who's a very big influencer in the media player market, I flat out asked the question: how many more years will we have external media players until they're all built in?
I was there for that.
And he said 3 to 5 years at the most. That by that time, they'll be all built in. So I think part of that is that chip on board technology. And obviously, Legrand's going to play a big part in this because Legrand has all those connectivity tools. And speaking of UC, which we were just talking about, Legrand has a new IntelliShot camera, Steph, that they just introduced.
Yes. It's very cool. It's a HD fixed camera. I think it has auto tracking.
It's an EPTZ camera, yes. And what's unique about it is that that it has HDMI and USB out simultaneously, which gives you the ability to decide, what resolution you want, what capabilities that you want. It mounts to the top.
And as for the auto tracking, it can track just one person if someone's presenting, or it can auto frame a small group of people if you're in a huddle room or something. So there are multiple options with that too. Yep.
And so anyway, on to our next story. It's the rAVe agency. It's the
rAVe agency. Yeah, we've got a few launch and learns coming up in December, and we just wanted to let you guys know what they were. First of all, creating strong editorial relationships. This is very important. I say that as the person who works in editorial for rAVe. Creating good editorial partnerships is very important, and it can be kind of a dance in terms of like how to form the right relationship. So definitely attend our launch and learn. This is going to have a lot of really great tips for you in order.
And it's brought to you by our PR team, our storytelling team, as well as some of the other experts in the industry will be there talking about how you can do better PR, which is more than just writing press releases. It's forming relationships with the press, people like Steph, so that they'll write up those stories. Avixa also has, we are partnering with Avixa to actually do wage gap and ProAV more than compensation problem. There's obviously some other issues with regard to paying people equally for the work that they're doing. On December 15th, they're going to have a launch and learn, and we want you to sign up for it. There are 2 articles that we posted that staff worked with Avixa on. One is about the pay gap between men and women salaries, but also another one's with regard to the racial pay gap that exists in our industry for all the DE&I initiatives that Avixa has. So that launch and learn is going to be on December 15th at 1 p.m. Again, you can scan this QR code to sign up for it. Go to ravepubs.com to read the article. Both those articles are posted at ravepubs.com. And then finally, our friends over at NSCA are going to put on a labor installation standards and launch and learn right before Christmas on December 20th. All 3 of these are free. And in this particular launch and learn, panelists will dive into the new standards that have a bigger picture on conversion and may limit an integrator's ability to do certain things if some of these regulations go through. And NSCA is one of those organizations that fights for your rights to be able to do what you're supposed to be able to do when you go to an installation. So it's worth joining that because there's some standards that are coming along that will affect your business stuff.
Exactly. So definitely check all of those out. You can just scan that QR code and it will take you to launch.com where we can get you all good and registered. And I believe that is our show. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday to watch our show. We will see you once again next Wednesday at noon Eastern and all of the places. What are they again, Gary?
LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and ravepubs.com. And a big shout out to our social team for supporting us today late on this day before Thanksgiving, as well as Carrie for producing the show behind the scenes here. We're going to eventually put her on camera. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving if you're celebrating Thanksgiving. If not, enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everyone.
It's the weekly show about Pro AV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.